So last week I visited the Middle East. The visit came at a particularly volatile time, just days after the breakdown of the ceasefire in Gaza, which has caused an appalling loss of life. Through this visit, I wanted to send a clear sign of the EU's commitment to de-escalation and support for immediate ceasefire. My message was clear. In a new war, both sides lose. I had the chance to pass clear messages underscoring the EU's priorities for Gaza, as stated by the European Union leaders at the European Council in March. The release of hostages, an immediate return of the ceasefire, and the resumption of humanitarian aid deliveries at scale into a Gaza Strip. I started my visit in Egypt, where I met the Foreign Minister Abdelati to discuss bilateral and regional topics. I also met the Arab Islamic Ministerial Committee, with whom we issued a joint statement on the on the Arab plan for Gaza. I'm sorry, I've been talking a lot today, so if somebody can get me some water, it would be very good. And then I traveled to Israel to meet President Herzog, Foreign Minister Saar, and the opposition leader Lapid.
We can wait just 1 second.
I also met the relatives of the hostages held by Hamas and paid a visit to Yad Vashem. In Palestine, I met the President Abbas and Prime Minister Mustafa. I also met with the heads of EU Border Assistance Mission in Rafah and our EU Police Mission to express my appreciation for the work of the two missions. The resumption of negotiations is the most viable way to find a way forward and get the hostages out. I reiterated the European Union's full support to the efforts of the negotiators. It's clear that violence only feeds more violence. The Arab plan, albeit still not conclusive on some very important issues of governance, security and cost sharing, remains relevant even in the context of resumed hostilities. And I was very clear on the two-state solution as the only way to reach sustainable peace and the security for Israel, the Palestinians, and the region. The EU has repeatedly stated there must be no role for Hamas in Gaza's governance. The popular protests ongoing in Gaza are an important development. In Israel are an important development. It is clear that people are making their voices heard to try to shape a better future. In the West Bank, another serious situation is unfolding, which I also raised with my interlocutors during my visit. The Israeli operation against armed militias in the refugee camps of the North and West Bank has led to casualties, displacement of some 40,000 Palestinians, and the destruction of vital civilian infrastructure. In parallel, settler violence, the approval of new settlements, evictions, demolitions, and forced transfers of Palestinians are increasing. All these actions are seriously undermining the viability of the Palestinian Authority, but also causing a grave harm to the Palestinian people. Honourable members, the European Union is the biggest donor of aid to Palestinians in Gaza and occupied West Bank. And the EU is playing its part to try to ease the difficult situation in the occupied territories. Just 3 examples. First, through our humanitarian aid. The Commission announced initial funding of €120 million for Gaza in 2025. This brings the total to over €450 million since 2023. Our partners on the ground worked tirelessly to fill the warehouses in Gaza during the 2-month ceasefire. The EU also remains committed in its support to the UNRWA. Second, At the request of all parties, our EUBAM Rafah mission was reactivated at the Rafah crossing point. It helped more than 4,000 people to cross the border, including more than 1,600 requiring medical attention during the temporary ceasefire. The resumed hostilities led to the closure of the Rafah crossing point, but the mission is ready to return when conditions follow. And they are also ready to help to give the humanitarian aid. Thirdly, in the context of seeking stability of the West Bank, but also in the view of the Palestinian Authority's return to Gaza, the EU will continue to provide support to the Palestinian Authority linked with reforms. And the first ever high-level dialogue with the Palestinian Authority is also in 2 weeks' time, and it represents a significant milestone in our relations with the Palestinians. It is also the occasion to discuss all of these issues in the presence of EU ministers and confirm our support to peace in the region. Thank you.
Grazie, Alto Rappresentante.